And we are back. Hello. Hello. As promised, I'm back. And as promised, we're making another pizza tart using all the things I learned on Tuesday. Tuesday's over there. Um, yeah, so some significant changes. We're using the same crust, we're using the same pan. Here's the crust. Um, but we're going to remember the pizza stone today. Liz! Hi! We're remembering the pizza stone, which should help us with our bottoms. We have a little baby can of tomato paste, which we will thin out and build up into a sauce instead of starting with a runny sauce and trying to concentrate it down. Hopefully that gives us less wet. We'll see. It can't be just paste. This is too thick. So we're going to have to cut it down with something. And the biggest change, our cheese layer, which was just a layer of mozzarella cheese, which was tasty, but gave us some issues, I think. I have selected instead ricotta cheese. And we're gonna kind of turn it into a almost cheesecake-like custard with egg. To try to get a set layer of cheese in our tart underneath our other layers. That's my plan. It's been a while since we did cheesecake experiments. I used to do cheesecake experiments more often. I stopped because they are complex and you end up with a lot of cheesecake at the end, and they're experiments, so it's not always good cheesecake. And some of them have been a little iffy. Liz, you're first. Congratulations, you are first today. So that's the plan. And step one is we're going to take that pizza stone there. We're going to put it inside the oven. And we're going to turn the oven on, and they will preheat together. And everything else we can start assembling and doing stuff. Yeah, so that's the plan. I'm hoping this is going to work out great. Also, it's a Thursday. I can't remember if I've even ever streamed on a Thursday. So we'll see if anyone shows up. Anyone other than Liz, who is already here and first. I'm going to put a few things away right at the start because I have the tart plate in the stack of dishes, and we do need to wait for the oven to preheat regardless. So it's not like we're in a super rush right at the start. Yeah, so I can tell you at this point, my week hasn't gotten any worse. It hasn't necessarily gotten any better. I've just gotten accustomed to the things being that we already talked about. So I feel better by virtue of time. But how's your week going? I know it's only been 2 days. But as we've learned, a lot can happen in 2 days. Oh. This is the next project. And it's not ready to go right now, so we will see. But this is a saw blade that I'm gonna have to do some work on cleaning up. Ooh, ooh. Share as much as you're comfortable with. Sounds exciting though. Ah, there it is. The circle part. Because we needed to clean this off. Ultimately, I didn't go through the trouble of digging all the way down to see how the bottom was on our last one. But when I got down there, it was sticking to the plate mostly just because the bottom wasn't super crispy. So it kind of was just moisture frictioning against the bottom because there wasn't any sort of large leaks, which I was worried about when we had that crack, but I guess the crack wasn't a problem. So that's a good sign. Lives in town, works in animal care. Well, nice. Good for you. I wish you all the best. Whichever way you decide to go with it. Where's my water glass? It's all the way over here in the other room. Okay, we're all cleaned up. We are all cleaned up. I'm not sure that oiling this did anything last time. So I'm hesitant to do it again. I might just oil the middle. I'm worried, I guess I'm worried that oiling it might give us extra sogginess. We're gonna try being a little bit more smart about the blind bake section today. I might just oil the outer ring so that I can get the outer ring to release, and then just trust that I'll be able to get it off the plate, because without the ring, this is literally just a flat sheet. You could get a spatula in there and release it mechanically. So I think that's what we want to do. Just oil the ring. Wears glasses. Is cute. 3D animation. I mean, 2 out of 3 ain't bad. Okay. Bookwoman. Hi. Howdy. Welcome. Okay. The same plate from before. The same crust from before. I left it out a little bit ahead so that it would be slightly more room temp when we started, because I think that might help with the cracking. We did have a little bit of cracking last time. But let's roll it out. George! From pizza to custard, it's still pizza. Hi, George. Oh, yes. Good shout. Egg wash. We're going to want to put an egg wash on the bottom to help it with its integrity. Oh, my... the thing is tearing in a really, really annoying way, where it's going to try to pull a... No, you gotta stop pulling. Oh, great. Okay. You can see it was trying to, like, pull a zipper. Okay. Now that that's released, we should just be able to gently unroll it. I think I'm going to go over it once with a pin as well, just to smooth out some of the wrinkles, especially on the middle end over here. We don't need much, but we do have a little crack over here, but that should be up on the lifted edge, so it shouldn't give us any problems getting a stable crust. Selena, hi, welcome. Okay, let me give George a shout out real quick. Make sure I didn't spell that wrong. Well, we are learning our lessons from Tuesday when I made a pizza tart, and it kind of worked. But I'm confident I can make it better. And I had another pizza, or another pie crust, so we are doing it again with some changes. Selena, you're not first. Congratulations. Liz beat it to you. Liz beat you to it today. But the good news is, anyone can be not first. But yes, one of the things we determined that I should have done for integrity was egg wash the bottom of the crust here now. Unfortunately, I don't have that liquid egg white, so we're going to have to use a whole egg. And there's going to be egg in the filling as well. So I'm going to use take the biggest egg we have. Because we'll only need a very thin sheet, and I don't really want to waste egg, so I'm just going to take the biggest egg. crack it into an obviously too large bowl. I don't have any recipes pulled up today. We are going entirely on things I learned from Tuesday and my own memory of how basic cooking works, which might be a terrible idea. Ricotta tart suggestion to help with the filling. I do always keep Discord up in the background. Suggestion box. Savory ricotta tart. Theirs is definitely different. Blah, 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 blah. How much ricotta do I have? We're limited by having only one tub of ricotta, which is 15 ounces, which is... Why are you still... You've been flashing literally since we... Well, reset. What the heck? Mode. This thing's gonna burn its batteries out if it's not careful. They're using a spring form. Using a spring form. For that? I'll keep it in mind. It looks like around the same proportions as I was already thinking for the egg to ricotta ratio. The thing is, their recipe is using a spring form, and spring forms tend to be much taller. So their recipe might be accounting for a lot extra space. It also might be shooting for like a cheesecake structure. So just copying their recipe directly might not work since I'm going for a different shape. But at the very least, it can give me proportions for getting the filling to set, and I can adjust up and down. Ryuya, hi! Yes, we found the pizza stone, and I remembered to put it in during the preheat. It is in there right now, being all hot. And we've just egg washed the bottom of our pie, and I guess I'm going to throw it in there like this, as is, and let it blind bake. And we shouldn't need to do anything. I didn't do the edges, so the edges can brown. The middle can brown. We're just going to kind of let it go. It shouldn't need to be in there very long. I think we did it too long last time. Also, let's slide over here, because this is also going to be a big benefit of having the pizza stone, because the pizza stone has handles. And humidity, apparently. The pizza stone has handles. I know I had weight, and I was thinking about doing weight, but now that I've got the egg wash in there, I don't think I want to trap the egg wash. I think we just want to be very careful and watch it. Because it's par cooking the crust, not fully cooking the crust. I think I fully cooked the crust last time, and that was part of the problem. Because I'm going to be rebaking it. We're not doing a, like, cold custard. I do need to dock the bottom. You are absolutely right. I forgot to dock the bottom. We're not doing a cold custard filling, so we don't need it to be fully cooked. We just need it to be par cooked so that it has a little bit of a head start on the cheesy filling that we're putting in there. Last time I was worried because I knew our fillings were going to be very, very wet, and I was sort of hedging my bets. This time, we're going to try to dial back on the wet fillings, so we shouldn't need it. I'm going to start us at 10 minutes. I'm going to start us at 10 minutes, and we'll take a peek at it. I think it's going to need more than that, but we're going to take a peek at it at 10 minutes. And in the meantime, we're going to come back over here, and we're going to start building things. So I did look up a recipe yesterday? Sometime between now and then. Well, that's a terrible plastic sheet. Bad job on the plastic sheeting. We're going to season the ricotta filling, yes. And the toppings, I think I would like some filling or some toppings on the top for the picturesque, but I think it's a good idea to dice up some onions and peppers and mix them into the tomato sauce as well. And those would need to be partially cooked. Chili Crispies in the cheese. We don't need that in here. I also want to include pepperoni this time. We did not do pepperoni last time because I determined at the last minute that I had too much stuff going on. This time, I want to be sure to get that pepperoni in there. Let's see, what do they got for their recipe here? It's 3/4 of a cup of ricotta to 1 egg, which is the proportion I was already looking at. They have parm in 2 places, olive oil, no milk in this one, no actual milk. But they've included some parm in this part. Okay. I did leave the ricotta out so it's room temp, because I know mixing cold cheese into liquids is very difficult. I also don't want this to be really soupy, so if I can get away with not adding any more liquid to it, that would be good. Ideally, I'm hoping that one egg is enough. Do I want to put chili Krispies in the cheese layer? I was thinking of putting the Italian herbs in the cheese layer because they would infuse into the cheese, give you those nice little speckles, and be protected from burning because putting them on top of a pizza, they're exposed directly to the heat. They're most likely to get that burn on them. It does look like a pretty good consistency. Now I got to see if I've got enough. We don't want this to be just this because I got to have enough room on top for a little layer of our tomato mixture. Oregano. Chili crispy on top to avoid changing the texture. That's a good shout. That does make sense. We can include it in the tomato mix, maybe. We also don't have to include it. It's actually not an Italian ingredient, funnily enough. Although we used Lauganma chili Krispies last time, but I do have Bomba de Calabria, which is an Italian pepper. We could use this stuff, which is much more of a dry paste, to get that spice effect without veering away from our Italian flavors. Don't want to go too hard with the garlic in the mix, but I want some garlic powder in the mix. I want some onion powder in the mix. And I want a little bit of black pepper in the mix. Now, do we think that's enough, or do I do another egg and another couple scoops of ricotta and make this bigger? I think I make it bigger. We might take the smallest of the eggs I have left and like 2 scoops of ricotta. Isosceles. Hello, hello. Happy Thursday. You're not first. You didn't quite make it. The pie crust smells good. It still looks pretty raw. 2 minutes left. We might leave it in there longer than that. I'm not sure how much color I want on it because we're going to put it back in there. It's just trying to get it a head start. What am I looking for? Eggs. I think... I suppose if this isn't enough, I can just whip up another batch of it on the fly and pour it over the top. It's not the end of the world. I'm getting low on eggs. So, rather than make more in advance, we will just see what that comes into. We're also going to use our offset knife to try to smooth this guy off. And we're going to make our little sauce. Let's see how well this goes. Oh, actually, no, you don't want... I've made that mistake before. For tomato paste, I actually prefer this kind of opener to the other one because you can push it through. You'll open both because tomato paste is so sticky. Oop. Should have done that in an actual bowl, but tomato paste is so sticky that you can use the lids to push it straight through, which I will demonstrate at the correct time instead of right now when it would just make a mess. 2 seconds. 1 second. I freaked it out somehow. Let's go take a peek at our pie crust and see if we want more time. You guys can help me decide since we're on the flying this. It smells good. Oh, it looks like we definitely want to take it out. Okay. I think 10 minutes was just right. It's browning. It's browning a little bit on the edge. It's puffed up slightly, but not really badly. I should have prepped my sauce first. I'm going to slide this over. Because we need to do our sauce real fast. With how it's puffed, I might have enough filling. Definitely a possibility. Although it's not bad. It's puffed on one side. Let's see if I can't... after the fact, dock that side a little bit to make it flatten out a little bit. Okay, that burner on. We can grab the same bell pepper and the same onion from Tuesday. Bring you guys over here. We don't need a ton of this, but I definitely should have done this first. Or I should have at least started this before I started the cheese so that this would be a little bit more ready. Because also our sauce is now unseasoned. It's just tomato paste. So I do have to include some actual seasonings as well. Why did I pick the smallest knife for this? That's how you cut your finger. You get a tiny knife that's way too small for the job. Okay. Okay, pepper, onion. We're not including pepperoni in the sauce part. And we're not sweating these out. We want them on high, so we're going to throw the temperature up a little bit on them. The remaining onion here, I want to cut thinly. Because these can be our nice, like, decorative topping half moons. And I could take this little middle bit, dice it up real fast, throw it in there. Okay. Onion toppings. That's a big pepper. Pepper toppings. Roast. I don't think we have time to roast. I think everything's going much faster than yesterday or Tuesday. Also, I have already started cutting it up. Good thought, though. I feel like I'm on fast forward today for some reason, and I'm not sure why. Okay, pepper, onion. Why am I going so fast? Why am I rushing? We know we're just going to end up standing around at the end. I mean, I have a plan, but the plan does not involve going fast. Okay, that needs to get turned down. I was definitely going a little bit too hard. We got some strong browning. The faster I go, the more likely I am to make a mistake or lose track or burn something. Let's get out a little garlic. I do have the plan, which means I'm not standing around and thinking, which is probably it. But also, I'm just like moving quickly on individual steps in a kind of a strange way. Okay, not too much garlic, but we do want some powder. Some onion powder. I know I put all these in the ricotta, but these are the flavors of Italy according to America, so. My basil, I am just about tapped out on my dried basil, and my basil plants didn't do very well this year, so I might not have a big stock of basil going into the winter, which is unfortunate. My crushed garlic, and I am going to give us a dollop of our Calabria chilies to give us some spice. Not a huge dollop. But some. Where's my spatula? Where's my spatula? Ooh. Well, the chili hit my nose. Okay, and then we're going to be mindful about trying to get this stuff to a good thinness. Okay, I didn't mention it, but that's how you get the tomato paste out of the jar easily. You cut both ends and you push it through. And I still have the jar, or the can of sauce from Tuesday, which is what I'm going to use to thin this out. Because we don't want it to be a completely thick paste. It needs to be thin enough to spread without having to really gouge into the cheese layer. That's our limiter. So I want it to be just like barely pourable. That's probably a good consistency. I can mix a little bit in right at the end if it thickens up while it sits here. We'll put it back. Wow. 45 minutes and we're already putting things in crusts. That's an advancement. I also used the wrong spatula. We 100% should have used this spatula for that and the white spatula for the cheese. Because tomato will stain your white stuff, which is why you use the red one. The spatula is now going to be forever slightly orange. Yeah, I think I got it before it. No, it's definitely going to be forever slightly orange. Behold, slightly orange. Okay, we take our pizza stone. Oh, and that burner's hot. I guess I'm going to do this in the back corner here because that burner is still hot. And I don't want to put this on top of a hot burner. One of my early cooks was a pizza cheesecake, yes. And in that case, it was explicitly a cheesecake. I made it the proper way with a water bath, the whole shebang. And you know what? People didn't like it. I served it to people and they were like, boy, the flavors are nice, but the texture is just weird. And one of the problems with that one was the fact that it had a crumb crust and that it needed some more structure. It was too, like, mushy. And we never went back to that because making a whole cheesecake for experimental flavors was a huge ordeal. And then I kind of fell out of favor of doing weird experimental cheesecakes, although I did find a smaller springform pan that we could use for that purpose. But for one thing, this is going to be a much, much, much thinner layer of our ricotta, and I'm giving it proper toppings, and we're not trying to get a cheesecake consistency on the top. That was also a thing that absolutely didn't work, trying to get the top of the cheesecake to be like a cheesecake. It just didn't work. It cracked horrifically because it had no. It was too much stuff in it. It had no structural integrity on the interior of the cheesecake. Which is why I'm not calling this a cheesecake, even though we have used some of the things I learned from that here. We're calling this a tart because I'm not going to attempt to make it structurally work like a cheesecake. Boy, I wish I hadn't used that front burner. Are you cool enough yet? Maybe. Are you cool enough? No. Get you guys in the front so you can see a little bit better. Cheese curd cheesecake, sriracha cheesecake, key lime cheesecake, everything bagel cheesecake. We can revisit cheesecakes. That is a thing. That is a thing that we here could do if there's interest. We'll have to work out how to make mini versions because I don't want to make full-sized ones. But we have a springform this size and a springform this size. And if we want to do really experimental things, we could work it with this one. We could figure out the proportions to do it with this little bitty baby guy and make just like singles to see what they do without committing to a full thing. Anyways, we need to get this sauce gently. That was not gentle enough. You know what it wants is a pipe. But it's also chunky. I'm not certain we're gonna get that to work. Maybe. I have to just be real careful with it. I think I need to thin it out a little bit too. It's a little bit too much of a paste. Yeah, that's more like it. Just gonna have to deal with the fact that there's a part in the middle that's pasty. Oop, got it on the outer crust in a way that I didn't want. Where's that spoon? Okay. Gonna fill in as many things as I can with just dollops from the spoon, and then we will link them together and smooth it out using the offset. There's definitely going to be some of our cheese filling peeking through. There's no way I'm going to get this completely covered over. Switch to my left hand and do a much worse job suddenly. Amazing how that works. Almost like I'm right-handed. Okay. It's getting there. I know what I should do. All right, I've stopped talking because I'm concentrating quite a lot on not digging into the cheese layer with the sauce as I spread it around, because it's fiddly and I can feel it. There's no, like, it doesn't sink, but if you press down, it absolutely wants to squish into the cheese layer and then cause the cheese layer to squish up somewhere else. So, and I somehow made just the right amount of sauce because we've scraped this dish clean. Who said hello? Sepsi. Sepsi said hello. I think I said hello back. I'm sorry, I'm not over there looking at you guys. Max concentration. But other than a few little cracks here and there in our red layer, it actually looks pretty much how I envisioned it. If I do this again, ever, oops, I definitely need to come up with a better solution than this offset knife. But as a quick makeshift, it was great for spreading the cheese layer around. Not so much great for the sauce layer, just because of structural problems. But Burly Earl, Burly Earl, hi. Allow me to butcher your name for a sec and then say hi. Yes, we're making a pizza tart. So underneath this tomato sauce layer is a mixture of ricotta and egg and Italian spices. So basil, oregano, garlic, onion, and a little bit of black pepper, because I like a little bit of black pepper. The sauce is those same spices plus some bell pepper and onion, which we're also putting on top. Fresh garlic, tomato paste, a little bit of tomato sauce to thin it out, some olive oil, and we very carefully and painstakingly layered it together. And now we are applying toppings. We did this same thing right here in this kitchen on Tuesday. You can see pictures of the result in my Discord. If you're not in my Discord, I can provide you a link in just a moment. But I learned quite a bit. It wasn't great. We learned quite a bit, and I decided I would come back right away and do it again while it's fresh in my mind. Sepsi's also making pizza, paninis or calzones tomorrow. Both of those sound good. Adding pepperoni. We didn't do pepperoni last time because I decided that it was too full of stuff. And I was concerned about moisture content. Rightly so. That one on Tuesday was very, very wet. Very much too wet. But We have been controlling our moisture today, and I want a well-pepped za here. At the very least, yes, it's going to be tasty. I'm hoping that we have structural integrity as well. That's the trick. That's the trick. Here, I've degreased my fingers. I can grab if you want. If you want. If you don't, then no harm. It's a very chill Discord. It's mostly just me posting pictures of the food I make. And a thin sprinkling of mozzarella over the top. We don't want to fully cover stuff up. We want to have like a spider web of cheese, so our toppings peek through, because there's plenty of cheese underneath. We don't need to heavily cheese the top. I should get an automatic Discord thing so that you can be like, !Discord, and it'll just pop up, and I won't have to do it manually all the time. That would be a smart thing to do. We're not known for being smart around here. Okay, I guess that critter needs to go in the oven until it looks done-ish. I don't know how long it is going to take because it is experimental. I see you in Discord. Welcome, welcome. Hello, hello. Pictures of your food. Yeah. Yeah. At the moment, Discord is the best way to keep track of what I'm doing. What is that? Wash my ceiling. I splattered my ceiling somehow. At the moment, Discord is the best way because I always forget to use Instagram because I find it really annoying. I was on Twitter before the dumpster fire of Twitter. So I haven't posted there in ages. Although I just got a Blue Sky account, so maybe we can start posting stuff there. And I don't know, I should probably diversify just to get eyeballs on the old show. We're just baking that. What can I do while we're baking that? Last time we made a drink. It's a lot of work. I also need to put together a website because people ask me for recipes and I'm like, sure, I can probably cobble that together into a written recipe. But if I had a website, I could be like, the recipe is there. And then it would be archived. And if somebody asks me for a recipe, I could put it on the site instead of sending it to them manually. That would be smart too. For how long I've been doing this, the fact that I don't have that basic stuff. Oh yes, I also, all of my past streams are archived on my YouTube channel, which I believe is actually linked down below in somewhere. I put it in. It might not be visibly linked. I'm not sure. It's the same name I've got here. My same little smiley guy. I think watching VODs of Twitch streams is boring, but I know some people like it, so who knows? You can see some of our disasters from the past. He started a food blog 10 years ago. Damn! We have a certified internet celebrity. Damn! Well, I have been significantly less fortunate than that. We've been at this. We just celebrated entering my my second year here on Twitch this July. Yeah, if I take it seriously, I need to take it seriously. I kind of haven't taken it fully seriously, and that's part of the problem. But yeah, I know you're supposed to set up a whole ecosystem and make it a thing and all that. It's so much work. What do I do while I'm waiting? What do I do while I'm waiting on the pizza? I'm not sure what to do while I'm waiting on the pizza. I've just kind of been idly tidying things up. A dip for the pizza. I don't think that this is the right kind of pizza for a dip. I'm pretty sure even if I get the maximum structural integrity I'm going for, it is going to still be a fork and knife affair. I seriously doubt it's going to be able to pull off a pick up and eat slice. A side dish might be a possibility. It'd be something easy or something that uses the oven that's already set to a 400. What have I got? What have I got? We could we could make a dessert. We could potentially do a dessert. We could do a drink. I don't, or do I? Well, the thing is, I don't know enough about drinks to be like really creative with drinks to the point of it not just being me following a recipe for 2 minutes. I have this melon. This melon. This is a canary melon. And it's tasty. Although I was intending to kind of just eat it plain or maybe make a gazpacho. Melon. I don't know. Open suggestion. Otherwise, I don't really have any other sweet. I have a lime. We don't really have any other sweet things on hand other than soda, which would be a part of a drink. We made a Cuba Libre on Tuesday, which really needed ice. It was tasty, but it really needed ice, and I don't have any ice, and I still don't have any ice because we still don't have any room for ice. because none of the things we've done this week have used up any of my freezer space, or have freed up any of my freezer space. Do I want to crack into a melon right now? I don't think so. I just... Melon side dish. What you got? Salad. Different kind of salad. Mint, strawberry, oranges, melons. Oh, melon prosciutto, basil, and mozzarella. That's interesting. You have a blog? You should link it. I'll, oh. Hold on, I have to find the tools. Oh, I've never done a permit. There you go. There's a button for it. If you would like to link your blog, you may do so. If you don't, then don't. Melon. I don't know. How's our pizza doing? I'm just kind of standing around. The top is getting quite melty. The edges of our crust are getting quite brown. Those are both good things. You know, I just realized my camera station is completely covered in stuff. We might have to do a makeshift camera somewhere else. So what's everyone else having for dinner? We can just do chit chat. We can just fall back to the old classic chatting while I wait. What's that? Oh, actually, what's the Coke. I'm gonna make a drink, but it's gonna be a really, really simple, basic one. Calimocho. We're gonna make a calimocho. Rayu is having carnitas. Oh, Orn. Oh, that's a great idea. Okay, pick a glass for this. Pick a glass for this. A mug? Or a... Oh, no. A goblet. I have a goblet. We may as well use it. Leftover pizza from last night. Miss Septi's also having pizza. I guess it's Pizza Thursday. Okay. What we have here are dried orange slices. They smell orangey. We're going to throw one of those in there. And it's 1-to-1, right? Why do these things never just have basic 1-to-1. Okay, good. That's what I wanted to know. Do I have a red on hand? I have a Pinot Noir that's cold, which is helpful. I keep a cheap wine cold in the fridge for the purposes of cooking. And I need it doesn't need to be a measuring spoon, but it needs to be the same size. Okay. A lot of people having pizza on a Thursday. Interesting. Okay, now this is not me being creative, although it did remind me that I made dried oranges, and this is the perfect kind of thing for them. Poke that in there. What we have here is a calimocho. In a big crazy goblet. It's just 1 part cheap red wine and 1 part cola and garnish, served cold. It is. I was put onto this by a friend who would order it at a local bar here. And it's not a normal thing around here, but I guess what I've heard is that it is popular among Mexican youth. Hopefully not too youth, but it's supposed to be a way to easily elevate otherwise pretty low quality wine into an easy drinking cocktail. And honestly, that sip I just had, I didn't comment on it, I just took a sip. Darn, that's really good. Darn, that's really good. It takes all of the dryness out of your wine, which if you like dry wines, not a good thing. But it also takes all of the harshness out of a cheap wine. And it takes away the cloying sweetness and the acidity of the cola. That's a good combination. And the orange, you guys can't even see it because I've got my face up here, is nice and decorative. Let's take a peek at our thing. Ooh, our top cheese has gone brown. So that probably means I need to pull it to avoid burning. So I guess making a drink, standing around thinking for 15 minutes and then making a drink for 5 minutes was the right decision. Let's pull this out and see what we are working with. Take the heat off. So, I mean, it looks really good. Um, I guess the test is going to be whether the interior is set or if it's still gooey, and I have no way of checking because we've fully enclosed it. I'm just hoping that because it's a relatively thin layer and it was already being heated from the bottom by being put on a hot pizza stone, that it pushed that through. If we go any further, we're going to start blackening the top, which would definitely be a fail. I like my pizza with some nice browning, some nice coloring on it, but not blackening. Blackening is too far. I kind of want to let it sit and rest a while. Oh, you know, I bet you part of the reason I was... Oh! I completely forgot. Burley Earl, thank you so much for the 25 bits for the giant emote. I completely forgot that giant emotes are a bits reward. They just kind of fly under the radar. But thank you so much. I saw it. I saw it and just kind of like, whoosh. Thank you so much. If you haven't seen the bits rewards, they're right at the top of where your channel points are. You can do things like make a really big emote. So, how long do we think we want to let this sit? If we get it off the pizza stone, it will go a little bit faster. If we don't, the pizza stone might give us a better chance of gently heating and gently cooling the interior to maybe get a nice, smooth, like cheesecake middle. It doesn't need to be nice and smooth because we have no top. We don't have to worry about that smooth, glossy cheesecake top forming because we've got all this stuff on top of it. Which is a cheat that I had previously come up with when I was brainstorming cheesecake ideas was, well, if you just completely cover the top in something other than cheesecake, then you don't have to worry about cracking because it's all covered. And that was the plan with the fish. That was the plan with the fish cheesecake, was to just completely cover the top in fish so there was no cheesecake showing. We never did that one. We never did that one, but that one could have been hilarious. I'm hesitant to touch this too early, which is why I'm kind of waffling around. The side near you looks quite good. It has contracted back from the ring right around the edge there. This side, which you can't see so well, folded over, and it would have been nice perhaps to trim it. I think the ring is going to come off very easily everywhere except right here, because our crust contracted inward slightly. But the fact that it contracted inward and didn't collapse at all is an excellent sign that it's nice and stable. And I don't see any pooling liquid, and there's no leakage around the bottom on the pizza stone. So I think we got away with it. I think we got away with it. How hot is the stone? pretty hot. Not instantaneous screaming hand hot, but pretty hot. Okay, I want to get it off of there though, because I want the pizza stone to get put away. So, let's get the whole thing off of there. Yeah, and there's no, well, there is. I just said there's no leakage, but there, no, it's a loose bit. It may have slid down from the top. Okay. Okay. The stone can cool down in the oven just so it's out of the way. This guy can come over here with us. Oh, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to grab my serving tray. And I'm going to take a snap of this thing here, but with a decorative wooden background before we endanger it. Oops, took a picture of my hand like a professional. Okay. Okay. I am just kind of waffling around, but we got to get that thing out of there. But we got to get this thing out of here, so it comes down to it. I just need a thing to push up through the middle to get our ring off. I'm going to do it the same way we did it the first time. And I'm just going to trust that it is structurally sound. It's holding. Oop. We're loose on the near side. All right, definitely adhered over there. Okay, well, just gonna. Oh, it's trying to pull over there. Come on, come on. Ah, aha, aha. Okay, we had a little bit of breakage, and I just leaned into it and broke more of it, but only on that side. The walls are sound. We don't need the ring to hold it together, which is a good sign. We don't need this anymore. I failed to get the one on Tuesday off of the bottom of the tart pan, off of the base. I really would like to get this one off of the base if possible. So because at the moment you can't see it, but the metal circle is still underneath there. Oop, our spatula slides in easily. And we got it. It is freestanding. With only a little bit of breakage on the part that I knew was going to have to break because it was folded over. I'm going to take another one just real quick here. But I guess that's all the hard part. Well, no, there is one last step, and that is cutting a slice out of it. And we just have to have faith that the interior is set enough to do that. So, what plate do we think today? Probably just a white circle. Probably just a white circle, because I want to... Well, actually, if the interior of this is white, which it should be, maybe, fingers crossed, then maybe a brown plate to make it stand out. Or we could just go for the black plate. Everything pops against the black plate. I think we're going with the black plate because everything pops against the black plate. Ooh, okay, it's got structure, but it's also delicate. Aha, but it does have enough structure to pull a slice. And it's not oozing out the middle at all. So it's not liquidy. That's a big slice, but I can try. I picked a plate with a lip. That's the side angle. By cutting it, I kind of push the layers into each other, so they're not giving me like really distinct layering. But it's not that bad. And it doesn't, as long as I'm careful with the cutting, I think, it doesn't want to squish out. And the bottom crust is, like, intact. Does the bottom crust look fully cooked? let me take a picture real quick. I've got the tray back. Let me take a picture real quick before I go mucking around and mess it up. My phone. Take lots of pictures and then you sort through them at the end and you pick the good ones. So, picture of it with a slice taken out of it. Picture of it in here. Okay. Because the best way to check the bottom, I'm not going to do a whole flip. The best way to check the bottom is to cut a chunk off and just look at the bottom. So that's what we're going to do, which also is going to lead us into our tasting phase. The bottom is definitely undercooked. There's no escaping that. That is unfortunate. Yeah. That is unfortunate. It's not raw. It's not raw, but it's definitely under. That's actually a great idea. Since the bottom is a bit under, reheating a slice flat on a pan just to blast the heat directly into that bottom would probably work. Because the bottom is pale and a little, like, I have these pieces of well cooked on the side over here so I can compare directly. But yeah, the bottom is definitely under. I'm a little concerned about the integrity of the interior. It probably will set up at when it's cold, but at the moment, if you watch, the toppings and fillings don't really resist. They just kind of squish. I actually think it should be baked with just the cheese stuff. And then have the sauce layered on, baked again, and then have the toppings layered on, and then baked again. Or at the very least, have the cheese layer baked, and then put the toppings on, and then baked again. Because the cheese layer is quite soft. The flavor, I have not talked about the flavor at all. I've just talked about the structure. I'm glad I added a very small dollop of that Calabria chili paste because this one is much spicier than the one on Tuesday. This one is coming through strong. But it's a lovely, like, fruity heat. It's not just blasting heat. It's a distinct spice, but it's got a complexity. It's got a fruitiness to it. Our sauce is cooked properly. I don't have any of that raw tomato paste flavor to it, which honestly probably means we shouldn't. Oh God, if I had baked the cheese layer just enough to set it up, that also would have made it so much easier to put the sauce layer on. You probably have to bake this in stages. We probably have to bake this in stages to ensure that all the layers get properly cooked. Otherwise, it tastes like a pizza. It tastes a lot like a pizza. It's very tomato forward. But then it has this creaminess from the ricotta layer that you don't get on a typical pizza. I think we are much closer to the concept that I've been circling with this than we were on Tuesday. The outer edge where the crust got more air exposure is much better cooked as well. It tastes a lot better with that crust on it. Okay, I don't think we solved all the problems. We solved the wetness. It's definitely not the wet soupiness that we had before. Now we just have to work out how to get that crust to bake up properly without over puffing. And I wonder if it might just be a case of don't use pie crust, use some other crust that won't puff up so that you can bake it longer in the blind bake to make sure that it's cooked through. That might end up being the solution, is a non-puffing crust. Like a tart crust. Exactly. We made a tart after all. The only reason I was using pie crust was because I had pie crust that I needed to use. And the original concept that I was going to work with was making a pie out of it that would be fully enclosed and then fully baked until all the crust was golden browned. But yeah, I think the concept, like, other than the crust, everything here works. It's tasty. It tastes like a pizza. It eats not like a pizza. I doubt you could get, well, no, you can actually pick it up. I broke this one because I've been cutting it, but you can actually pick it up like a pizza. I had to bite through that onion and take a bite. And that's how you can really tell that the crust on the bottom isn't raw, because it is cooked enough that it's got some integrity, that you can hold it up and it stays. I just wish it had a little bit more character to it. I don't want to revisit this right away, but I think we should put a pin in this one and come back to it again, because I feel like this is right on the cusp of being a really nice recipe with some good customization. I think I got the proportions of everything really close. We could probably step up the cheese layer just a little bit, not a double. Doing a whole other egg and a whole other scoop of of ricotta would have been way too much, but we could just like, I don't know, 30% up, just a little bit more. Um, to offset the amount of the toppings I put on. Or we could make a slightly thinner tomato sauce so that it can be spread over the top more thinly. And I really think that baking it with the cheese layer bare just a little bit, long enough to kind of help it form a skin, would make it super easy to put the tomato layer on the top of that. And I have to work out the timing on that. I think we're really close on this one. And I like the idea, and I like where we've gotten. So, I guess stick this one in your back pocket. It's very tomatoey. It's slightly too acidic, and I think that's because the proportion of the tomato to the cheese is off, which is why I wanted to bump up the cheese a little bit, and also because we have a little bit of room above the edge of the crust where we could make it slightly taller without spilling it over. So either reduce the sauce or increase the cheese, just to balance it a little bit better, because it's very tomato forward. We also might include, you know what you could do? You know what you could do? Mix some mozzarella, maybe some parm, into the cheese layer, into the cheese mixture. And then you can get it melty and get those cheese pulls and give it a little bit more structure. Ricotta is very soft and it doesn't melt together. You don't get a gooey layer, you just get a soft layer, like a pasty layer out of it. I don't want to say mush, but it's kind of always stays like a mush. And I used it here because it's easy to mix things into. But I want to say, fruit fly. I want to say that like a cream cheese would give us a better structure on the interior. Which was taking us, again, further down the line of making this like a cheesecake. Brick cheese. Maybe. That would spoil our nice pure white interior. Not that you can even see it, so maybe it doesn't matter. I know that going all mozzarella like we did on Tuesday was too far in that direction. So it's a matter of finding that nice balance point, I think. I think all ricotta is too far in the other direction. There's somewhere in between, and it might be cream cheese, or it might be a mixture. Somewhere in between is a better spot. Anyways, I'm gonna close us down there and send you guys off somewhere. Let's see who's on at 6:30 on a Thursday. I never stream on Thursday. Like, actually never. Whomst is on? We have my follows list. We have a bunch of randos. And some food channels. You know, I've been stumbling into Murphy all day in random chats. So we're just going to go bother Murphy, who's playing Elden Ring. So we're going to go games instead of food today. Um, so, yeah. I think we have 85% of success here. We're getting right on the cusp of that. Yeah, that's good enough to just call it done. Um, so I want to put a pin in this and come back to it. I know I've said that a lot, and we haven't come back to almost any of the things that I have said that about. But I actually might do it with this one because I'm very interested in its progression. Um, Thank you for showing up on a Thursday out of nowhere. We're not on tomorrow. I moved up tomorrow's stream to today to give myself some breathing room tomorrow. Thanks to Burly Earl for jumping in with some bits for a giant emote. And yeah, I guess that's it. Thanks for hanging out. Thanks for sticking around. The cleanup doesn't look too bad today, so I'm looking forward to that. And I guess I'll see you next week. Bye.